Paul Daner, Mark Shalafoo, from listener questions to some running gags. Insider stories, ambush light, that dad life and respect for flags. Kick off the weekend, alright? It's the Growler Friday Show, it's Who Dey Light.
All right, welcome to the latest edition of Who Dey Light. Paul Daner Jr., Mark Shalafoo here with you on a Friday. Happy New Year to you, Mark.
Same to you. How are you guys doing with your eternal winter break from school?
It just keeps going.
Sure
it doesn't stop. Our school, you know, we're in CPS. I think all of CPS has this. I don't know if it's every school. We have the Monday off too.
Yeah.
That's really personal.
Very
that feels unnecessary. Like there's no reason to do it like that. I felt a little attacked by the calendar this year with having the Monday after we've already had 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, you know what that is, though, is the teachers just need a day to realize what the hell they're doing because they've given up. You know, they pack it in like early December. It's Christmas parties. It's Polar Express Day. It's this, it's that. Then they need one day to be like, wait, what are we doing again? Who's in my class? What are we teaching in this school? And they got to kind of get their crap together. And we get to deal with one more day of this.
Just one more day. You know how at the wit's end parents are for that Monday? That's going to be a rough one. But that's all right. That's all right. It's good to have the kids around all the time. Maybe they'll make an appearance in today's show. It's hard to know.
Pops up. Sure.
It's always possible right now this time of year. So we'll have that. But we got a lot of stuff to get to in this one. I'm excited about it. First of the new year, 2026. It's going to be a great year for Bengals fans and the Growler and everybody else. You can just feel it. You can just smell it in the air. It's going to be great. We have our final live show coming up on Sunday. I'm excited about that.
Those have always been really fun. And even last week's was a lot fewer folks were kind of around downtown. Maybe not the same enthusiasm we saw earlier in the season, like when it was -5 degrees, but we still had a great crowd at Tom's Watch Bar and BetMGM. So everyone that came out had a pretty good time. We had some laughs. We had some good questions, some good off-the-record conversations happened in that room that stayed in that room. So we'd love to continue that.
As far as we know, I didn't see anybody like rolling a camera from the back or something. Makes me nervous.
Put it out there on the wire.
Well, you know what? Look, I'm sharing things, okay? Like I'm out here trying to reward the people that come down to the show that have specific questions that maybe we can't talk as openly about out in the wild. So we're trying to do it. I will
say that I did get terrified at one of those questions because somebody asked something about Jake Browning, and there were a group of people wearing Jake Browning jerseys in the far back of the bar. And there was that moment where it's like, oh my gosh, is that Jake Browning's family back there?
Yeah.
Like we got to be real careful with what we say. And they were just people that were from the same hometown as him. They came up later and explained. I was like, I wish I knew that before we danced around this answer.
Well, it was funny because it was once I first said the answer, and then all of a sudden I just looked up and the first thing I saw was a 6 jersey kind of waving from the corner, and I was like, no way.
Yeah, and they didn't look happy with the answer either. That was the other thing. I was like, oh, okay, this could go together.
But yeah, it was that was a little bit of a touch and go moment, but we did it. And so I hope, looking forward to this one. I'm guessing we'll have some good Bengals Browns fans. Maybe we can pit them against each other, Family Feud style. Maybe we can do something like that. That could be fun. I don't know. You never know what is going to happen down at the show, except good times and us having exclusive parlays this week. You can get the exclusive boost during our show, only in person at the window at our show. You can get Bengals money line, the under, and a T touchdown. The only thing that missed on the parlay last week was the T touchdown. He has one in like 1 million home games this year, and I thought for sure that would happen. And they started throwing touchdowns to Jamar Chase again, which they hadn't done for a while, which is fine. But Bengals money line under and T touchdown will have a extra juice if you come to our show on Sundays. We'll have giveaways and all the normal stuff we do there as well. So we hope to see you down there at BetMGM. All right. So we're going to get to all our stuff here today. Should we start with story of the week?
Yeah, I feel like that's a pretty appropriate place to start is with the story of the week, the biggest thing you're talking about.
Well, I thought it was, we see more of the same questions and answers that are coming from Joe Burrow and from Jamar Chase as we've heard over, you reach week 3 of being eliminated and it feels a little everything right now feels a little repetitive. And that's fine. I think that what you've heard is, the latest was Jamar being like, yeah, I think it's obvious what needs to change. I'm not going to say things specifically, but yeah, it's obvious to everyone. The same Burrow was saying, yeah, things need to change. They need to be done differently. It's obvious. Yes, the defense needs to not suck. Everyone knows this. I do think it's obvious. Yes. I think that they're just trying to think of a million different ways they can say it. Hey, let's put some money into the defense. It's the same thing that everyone's saying on every one of the shows, on Mo's show, on our show, on James's show. You're reading it on The Athletic, you're reading it in the Inquirer, you read it yes, obviously they need to put money and effort and energy into fixing the defense. That is what everyone's saying.
There's a lot of interpretation, though, because there is so much obvious that could be fixed with this franchise. So you hear that and you're like, is it the defense? Is he talking about the need for a different general manager or a new head coach? And some of the people that maybe haven't followed along week to week, especially here, still think maybe that's in play. Because I saw some people that were like, maybe, Jamar Chase just hates Zach Taylor and that's his obvious thing he wants. It's like, no, it's not that. But I can understand why people might have that assumption because there is so much that kind of went sideways this season. But really, those guys are in a tough spot. Like, you can't just say, like, the guys in the locker room stink on defense. We need better guys. What do you do from a reporter standpoint, though? You're trying to find storylines and things to write about and, ask those questions, I guess.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't think that's a storyline. It is obvious. Like, we've written it, we've said it, like we're going to do it more, and it's fine. Like, to ask, there's no question you shouldn't ask. Like, ask whatever you want. I don't think that matters. I'm just saying, like, the reaction of thinking like this is something bigger. No, it's fixed defense, man. Like, that's what it is. So I just kind of laugh a little bit at some of the reaction of like, what does it all mean? It means what everyone knows it means. What we're all saying is fix the defense. I will say, I had a really interesting conversation. Myself, Charlie, and Ben Baby from ESPN all requested linebackers coach Mike Hodges this week. And to just talk about the season for linebackers. It's never good when 3 reporters want to talk to a position coach at once at the end of the season, right? It kind of tells you what's happened. It was a really enlightening conversation. And it's not one that people are like, oh no, what's being sold? He wasn't selling anything. It wasn't hiding from the truth that it's been bad. There was a lot of I just thought it was really interesting to hear his perspective sort of from inside the belly of the beast, if you will, what this year has been like with 2 rookie linebackers, which is not something that anyone ever does. And he pointed that out at one point. I just, sort of asked him, like, is it, is it feel weird? Is it not something you've really done? He's like, no linebacker coach has had to do this. Like, I don't know anybody that's had to do this. And I went and looked it up and he's right. Like, not that we didn't know it, but I'd never actually gone through and like filtered out every single year rookie linebackers. So the rookie linebackers right now each have over 700 defensive snaps and at least 97 tackles. Linebackers are given opportunities to tackle. Like, the idea that you go out there and get tackles, there's levels to it, but like usually these guys are set up to make tackles. That's from being on the field a lot. 700 snaps, 97 tackles, each for Knight and Carter. Rookie, I paired it back to just looking at rookie linebackers with even 600 snaps and 60 tackles in a season. Rookie linebackers with those numbers. And there are only 10 individually that have been asked to do that in the last 5 seasons. There has not been any combo as far back until I got tired of filtering it out. Of 2 rookie linebackers with that volume. It's true. Like, it's it's kind of suicidal a little bit from a defensive perspective to do this. You just don't see it happen. He pointed out a lot about how, like Logan Wilson was doing, you're caddying the young player along. It's a really hard position. It was a really enlightening conversation. Charlie and I are going to dive much further into the linebacker topic and film, and you're going to hear a lot more from Mike Hodges and others on Monday's final rewatch. So check that out. I'm sort of a little bit plugging that, but that was, that is the crux of so much of what went wrong and what Jamar's talking about. What's obvious to everyone is fixing the linebacker room. And in that room, there's even an admittance like we need help in here. Yeah, that's good. That's good to know.
Well, at least they know that for sure now, because I think there is a world where what happens if Logan Wilson doesn't get traded, because his play has fallen off. It's not like he went to Dallas and really became a beast or anything. Yeah. So like, what's the world look like if it's Knight and Logan Wilson and it's just as bad play, but now there's those people that are like, hey, we still have Barrett Carter on the bench. We haven't seen what he can do. He just needs some reps. Look at Miles Murphy. Once you started playing the guy more, he finally turned into a player. Maybe 4th round pick Barrett Carter could be the same thing. We'll get him in there and he'll be a stud. I think at least we know now that he's maybe not the answer. At least right now, he's not.
Not this year. I mean, but there's rookie linebackers in general are not going to be stars, and especially when there's not great players in front of them or behind them. When everybody around you, it's like, that's the thing we've gotten into in a lot of these conversations is the evaluation of the individuals is hard because so many players aren't great around them. Are they being impacted by poor play next to you, or are you not great? Are you the reason other people are struggling? What is, and that's for the coaches and the personnel people to figure out. But I think it's fair to say that somebody more experienced, it's why I keep banging the drum about more experience at every level, real starting level players at every level, just to add stability. It's the same thing as we've talked about with the corners, once Jalen Davis of all people came in, who is, on the practice squad, but brought stability as a veteran who knows what he's doing and where to go and has instincts and like gets people into the right spots a little bit more, makes players around them play better a little bit. That's part of, the bigger conversation with the defense. And I think that's definitely going to be one at linebacker. It's just going to be about how aggressively it happened. Do you have another favorite story of the week?
Well, I'm a little all over. I mean, I was kind of listening to the stuff that Jamar said, and I think one thing that makes people nervous right now is just the fact that I think a lot of fans are starting to come around to the fact that they're probably going to run it back with the same coaching staff, and it's not like Duke Tobin's going anywhere. And I think people are starting to accept that. I think the prospect of just really bringing everybody back terrifies people too. They're like, we can't, all right, the coaches are coming back. We can't do the same thing at linebacker, right? Like, then you see stuff like the Geno Stone thing and Al Golden talking about him. I just read that online. So I had that quick moment of panic about like, wait, is this for real? Is this like a defense of Geno Stone, or is he a long-term guy here now for us? So people have those little flash panics, I think, at that. But the one thing that I've been thinking the most about this week was just how much fun the Cody Ford play was. And you need some gimmicky stuff like that at this time of the season. I want to see Joe Flacco one last game going against the team that let him go. Like, that would be fun. Then you don't have to worry about Joe Burrow getting hurt in the finale for no reason. I know he wants to go out there and play, but maybe they could have like a Rudy moment where everybody else on that team just brings their jerseys in. Like, no, we got to get Joe out there one last time. They did pay for him. It would be fun, right, to see Flacco slinging it with his star receivers against that defense.
I think there would be a very loud exhale, only topped by the standing ovation of Joe Flacco coming on and Joe Burrow going off at this point. I mean, I just think everybody is going to show up, and instead of like people with hands up in the air, they're just going to be covering their eyes with one open watching this game when the Bengals are out there on offense, because just it's the only thing everyone is scared of. People won't care if they lose. They'll rationalize it for better draft picks or whatever. Like, who cares? They just don't want to see anybody, specifically number 9, get hurt. And that's the only way that I feel like most people are going to be watching this game, because it's just the worst case scenario. Everything else is fine. Like, if they go out, more than likely they're going to go out there and they're probably going to win. The Browns aren't great. Like, they'll score just enough points. It'll probably be pretty sloppy. And that's just the way every Bengals-Browns game goes, but Shedeur will probably throw a pick or two. That'll be the difference in the game. Like that, you can kind of feel that. The Browns have been really good at home this year and truly dreadful on the road. Like it's unbelievable level of splits. And it certainly feels like a team that had their Super Bowl last week against Pittsburgh and now is like 1-2-3 Cancun, right?
Yeah.
and if Burrow's playing and they're out there rolling on offense a little bit the way they have, I think they'll have enough to win. But like it's just don't let Joe get hurt.
Yeah,
So
I've seen enough.
That's it.
I've seen enough from Joe. Like he came back, he's playing great. The guys like him. The offensive line, we've talked about that, is in such a good place. I know you talked about that with Mo and re-sign Reisner, and you're in a great starting place for next year. I want to kind of close the book on that offense right now. I've seen enough, feel good about you. Yeah. Let's get Reisner back and then just run it back with that offense. I really don't need to see them struggling against Cleveland again, or even if they don't, I don't want to waste this as the one time he figures out that defense and carves them up is in a meaningless game. But it would be fun to see Joe Flacco out there one last time, because I know he's not going to be a Bengal next year, most likely.
Well, it's not out of the question. I mean, he was talking a little bit this week with the obvious storyline of him and the Browns and what have you. And he's open to it. He wants to play. And the question is probably going to be, is some team willing to make Joe Flacco their starter, even in a bridge scenario? So if he wants to play, I don't know. Maybe he's kind of been this bridge starter guy. And if they don't, or if he feels like he doesn't have that great spot, then maybe this is where he comes back to. And I think he's open to that. I mean, I know for those that get the chalkboard, I hope that, Charlie had something early this week with Flacco talking about how if even if he wasn't here and the Bengals called next November, he's like, I'd answer the phone. I'd be up for it if something happened. Right. Like you just keep Joe on retainer there. He's just kind of around, hang out with your family, but we'll send you the playbook. We'll send you the new editions of the playbook every week for free if you want some light reading material. And then if something happens, you show up. I think if there was a way to bring Flacco back as the backup, it's the best case scenario without question. I just think if he wants to play, it's going to be a matter of what those opportunities look like.
And there might be some of those teams that do need that bridge quarterback. I mean, that's got to be a tough spot to be too, though. Like just in Cleveland this year, where they're like, we have 3 guys we're trying to replace you with. We're going to see if any of them can take you down. And then when none of them do, we're still going to give up on you. Like that's kind of a tough spot to be in.
But if he knows, I mean, I think he has to know at this point in his career, like
there's not a lot.
He's not going to be like, you're our guy. Like that's not going to happen anywhere. He's going to be a guy that goes in there while there's a drafted kid that people are going to be clamoring for more than likely. That's the nature of who he is right now. Or he could be Joe Burrow's backup and hang out and know that if he does get in, he'll get to play with T and Jamar and all that stuff. And so that's up to him. I think that's a decision that he'll have to come to terms with, if it's better to do essentially what he did with Cleveland or sit and watch Joe Burrow play all year potentially, or be the guy that's behind a guy who's been injury prone, but with an incredible offense. Those are decisions for him to make. He sounds pretty open to all of it. And I think that's probably good enough for right now. There's a long way to go till any of those decisions really, truly have to be made.
Yeah, I hope we don't have to make that decision. If he comes back as a backup, fantastic. If he wants to be the guy sitting at home when we bring him in, great. I just hope we're not in the same position, God forbid, knock on all the wood, where we're trading a day 3 draft pick for Joe Flacco again next season to get him from whatever team picked him up and has him on the bench for some rookie quarterback.
Yeah, nobody wants that, but at least there's a possible answer out there. All right. Let's flip it forward a little bit. Should we bring in our guy?
We got to bring in our guy.
Eric Sztanyo from Keller-Williams Realty. What's up, Mr. Sztanyo? How we doing?
What's going on? Hooday.
Yeah.
Hooday, and Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Yeah, and Happy New Year to you. How are things? Has it been a Happy New Year and a good Christmas season?
It's been great. Been great with the family. No sickness, no all the we've avoided all the stress with 5 kids and family hosting. No, it's been fantastic. It's been really great.
That's great. That's great. Well, it's good, this is the last regular season in-person visit, so it's good to see your face one last time for the 2025-26 Bengals regular season. Always great to have you here. I hope everybody knows the YouTube page, huge numbers popping off, right? People should be at Team Sztanyo. Go over there. Anything you'd ever want to know about Cincinnati, the neighborhoods, the schools, the trends, all of it's over there. You're crushing it with content, crushing us with content. I'm still a little bitter about how many subscribers you have. It's going really well. So congratulations with all that. Anybody that is buying or selling, you want to make sure you hit him up. info@teamsztanyo.com, or you can just go to their website, www.teamsztanyo.com. to connect. Mark, we have an ambush.
We do.
You were ambushed, Mr. Sztanyo. People sent in an email, said, look, I need this answered. Just throw it on them on the show. And so we're here to do the wishes of the Growl Pals.
Yeah.
You know, they've given to you, and I feel like we need to give back to them.
It's true.
Honestly, maybe a couple ambushes here, because we have heard a lot of people, the live shows lately are just really jonesing for some Sztanyo hats. Always a big prize, and we haven't had any of the last shows. And so there are some people that are like, what? I have to take a Growler t-shirt? I don't want this. I don't want this. We have a ton of other great prizes. It does hurt when people would rather just have your hats.
Yeah.
We get a lot of those. All right, here's the question, though, we got sent in. We had a Growl Pal who was in the military, moved to a new city in summer of 2024. And it was a coworker that in the old city that had connected him with this realtor. And he worked with the guy to buy a home, knowing that he was probably going to have to sell it in 2028 or maybe rent it out. He said it was a very nice, easy guy to work with. At the end of the process, he mentioned he usually enjoys going over to see the houses and having dinner with the clients after they settled. Now, he said, my wife and I, we're not big into hosting, and I always felt like my house would need to be in tip-top selling condition if a realtor was coming over. So they pretty much avoided that visit, kind of turned him down. And then one day, this guy just showed up out of nowhere. He became a lot more aggressive. He left a small gift basket on the porch and then asked if they'd be around for him to stop by later that week. And then he showed up unannounced just on a different day, just calling from the driveway saying, hey, I'm in your driveway. Are you home? And I think they just hid inside the house because they weren't sure what was going on. He wants to know, is this normal realtor behavior? Is this because this guy is just trying to, get the sale in a couple years? Is he just trying to make sure I'm being a responsible homeowner and keeping up on the maintenance? Or does Sztanyo think this guy is just deeply wants my friendship? So how would you assess the behavior of this realtor that is showing up unannounced and demanding to be friends with the client?
Wow. Yeah. He sounds lonely.
You're saying he needs 5 kids?
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe a little all of the above there. Certainly realtors do want to get the resale. That's helpful. They want referrals and things like that. So they want a good relationship with people. It sounds like he needs some friends though. That's what it sounds like. And that'll happen sometimes. Sometimes you work with clients and things are like, okay, that deal's done. Sometimes you work with clients and like Growl Pals, and you're like, that was great. We should be friends. We should have a beer and watch the Bengals together. But I'll bring up this stat again. I think I mentioned it last time. Everyone knows a realtor. There is a lot of real estate agents out there. 70% of real estate agents sell 5 or fewer homes a year. Half of real estate agents sell 1 or 0 houses a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
1 or 0.
1 or 0. So there's a lot of real estate agents out there who are just not making money and who need that resale and maybe are a little lonely. Maybe they need some friends, and maybe a gift basket will help them get that friend.
Yeah, that's what you want, is a realtor who sells 1 or 0 houses a year. That's who you want to trust with that decision. It's somebody that's at the top of their field, really locked in. Yeah, that's a good person to throw in with.
I'd like to point out that it's never okay for anybody in any profession to show up at my house unannounced.
I don't even like the unannounced phone call. I don't even
want you to probably show up announced, honestly, if we're being real. Definitely not unannounced. Everyone in my house hides. if anybody comes to the door, if there's a knock or a car's in our driveway and nobody knows who's supposed to be there, it's like even everybody except for my dog, who makes his feelings on the matter very apparent.
Oh yeah. And you guys just say to the kids, quick, duck, hide, someone's here.
They do it themselves. They're trained. They're trained to avoid eye contact with such people.
Well, I do want to say, hey, the optimism was a little low last time I was on the show. And so it is nice to see it has gone up. Joe looks a little happier. You drop 45 points and that'll happen, I think. And I'm happy to see that. I'm thoroughly feeling the dead cat bounce here. And I'm still a 10 out of 10 for next year. It's a new year. We're turning the page. I'm a 10 out of 10 that we can turn it around. We can fix the defense. Where are you at on that, Paul? You still at
I'm still at a 7. I'm still in the same place.
Right.
I don't think it's changed. I don't think anything about the last few weeks has really changed all that much, other than to show this is what everybody knows it can and should look like. It's still a relatively simple process.
Yeah.
Fix the defense. Your number is depending on your trust level that this front office can do so. And that's where I'm at a 7. I think it's it should be able to be done, but I'm down in the 7 range because you still got to have them show that they can go do it again.
Yeah. I think these games have been fun. Kind of, they've been helpful for fans but they're also just sad because we're like, this is what we knew they would have been. And you get 9 games, you knew the defense was going to get better, or they're not great, but they're getting better, kind of. It's a young defense. And you're like, yeah, that's kind of what we expected this year, was an amazing offense with maybe a defense that's getting better rolling into the playoffs. And we just didn't get it. And it was sad, but I'm optimistic that we can change it.
I mean, this is a team that's built around their stars. If Joe Burrow doesn't miss 9 games and Trey Hendrickson doesn't miss most of the season, it's real easy to talk yourself into this being a playoff team, and a dangerous playoff team, even with Geno Stone at safety. It's not that hard.
Yeah. I mean, the Trey Hendrickson thing.
That hurt.
I mean, that's it. They didn't have a closer and they couldn't close games. So you tell me what that's about.
I'll remind Bengals fans, I'll leave you with this, that of the 6 seasons we've had Mr. Burrow on the team, 3 of them, he's been healthy, and 2 of them, we went to the Super Bowl and the AFC Championship. So he's the best. He's so fun to watch. Him and Uno and Higgins, they're so good. So it's next year, we'll get them back. We'll get them all back.
Yep, we shall see. But either way, if you need to buy or sell a home, no matter what's happening with the Bengals, you can always call our guy, Eric Sztanyo. Hit him up, send him an email, info@teamstanyo.com. Maybe you can get a hat. It's a great hat that I wear around all the time. It's airy. It's really well made. It's truly, next level in the hat game. I never thought that you would become my hat guy as well as my go-to for all real estate knowledge. So I certainly appreciate it.
It's what I really want to be. It's what I really want to be known for out of all this whole experience. It's really been a winner.
Absolutely.
Like people in this city, Joe Burrow, he's a big fashion guy as a hobby. And it's like your side of that too. You're a hat guy on the side.
Yeah. Yeah. If we got any hat watch in training camp next year,
Ooh, yeah.
We know where to turn.
Yeah, hat watch. We can see if we could get whoever's holding out next year.
That's right.
A DJ Turner hat watch. Maybe that's what we'll end up having. Who wants that? All right, Sztanyo, it's been great. Awesome regular season with you. Appreciate all the drop-ins and all the stuff you've done for so many Growl Pals out there. So anybody that wants to hit them up, please do. Go to their website, www.teamstanyo.com. Connect with them. Thanks, brother.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
See you. All right. Always great catching up with Sztanyo, who's been with us since the beginning, man.
Yeah.
All the way. True day one, and the Growl Pals supporting them has been able to keep driving us doing stuff. We certainly appreciate it. He's the best. Also, year 2, this was year 2 for us, season 2 for us at the Growler, but a year 2 coming up for Power Stacks show, the red show that launched last year, which was awesome, with Charlie and with Brian Giesenslaw. The show was fantastic. Reds Fest is coming up. Spring training's coming up. The season's coming up. I want to remind anybody and get in on with them for our season 2. And in fact, I'm going to let them tell you all about it.
All right, Chaz, we always say let's get right to it. This is Power Stacks. Charlie Goldsmith, Brian Giesenslaw, entering year 2 of what we think is the best, most enjoyable, most well-sourced and deeply reported Reds podcast on the market. We'd like you to join the show. And if you have a business, Charlie, and I know you're plugged into the business community, we'd like those people to join us as well and partner with our show. You can get in touch, powerstackspod at Gmail, powerstackspod at Gmail. Chaz, how would you pitch the fun and the value of the show we do a couple of times a week every baseball season?
Well, let's just say as we're recording this right now, I'm here recording this from Orlando at the MLBGM meetings, where I can tell you a league source not with the Reds told me that Brian Giesenslaw is the best co-host I could possibly ask for. That's a true story. Happened in the lobby yesterday, and it's a fun, thrilling, exciting, passionate, loyal community that we get to be a part of here, following the Reds every single day.
I'll hit the bell for that, and I'll also share, since we're sharing compliments, rising media star across a multitude of media outlets. That's Charlie Goldsmith. We do it on Power Stacks, and we'd love for you to join us. Hit us up at powerstackspod at Gmail, and we look forward to seeing you as the Reds head into spring training and a new season at Great American Ballpark.
I just wanted to add one quick thing about Power Stacks. The same way that people helped us out in the beginning, because podcasts, it's not like a huge company behind these. Those 5-star reviews really do go a long way. So if you listen to this show and maybe haven't checked them out yet, or listen to a few episodes, leave them a good review as well, because those things do make a huge difference, and that'll help them out too.
Well, I will say this. You know what the crazy thing is? It's hard to find a true 5-star review like podcast where that's their number. Power Stacks, all 5-star reviews. Like, that's the only thing on all platforms for them are the 5-star reviews. Spotify, Apple Music, you name it, like all of that stuff, which is really cool and a testament to how great of a job Brian and Charlie do.
And we did get some good emails this week to the GrowlerPodcast at gmail.com. We love hearing from the Growl Pals. We love seeing them at Tom's Watch Bar and BetMGM. We're going to kick things off here with this one. He says, hey, PDJ and Marky Shalafu. Last year when we lost to Washington, Zach Taylor said, we will be surprised by how good of a team Washington will be. Then they went to the playoffs. This year, when we beat the Jaguars, Zach Taylor made the same exact claim by saying that we will look back and say it was a good win. Now look at the Jags. How can Zach Taylor predict these teams' flash successes? Can you ask Zach how he is seeing the future or what indicators led to his predictions?
Yeah, well, I mean, coaches know. Like, coaches know a team that was hard to prepare for and harder to execute a game plan against, and they know what wins in the NFL. Like, that's not, I don't think, anything that's specific to Zach Taylor. You play somebody early in a season and you're like, that is a team that plays the right way, that has the whatever it is that you know is hard to prepare for, was whatever was so hard for you that week, and then in the game, and you can feel that, especially early in the season. I think so often fans and really all of us get so used to the same teams and the same off-season storylines, talking about the same people and the same teams, that you just constantly have this disregarding of flash successes, right? Of being Commanders, Jags, because they're made fun of, their punchlines, right? But every single year it happens. I mean, look at the playoffs right now. Every year you have these teams that just put it together. And so, yeah, coaches can see that early in the season. This is a team that's going to be able to put it together. And I think when he has pretty close relationships with Cliff Kingsbury in Washington and with Liam Cohen in Jacksonville. So I think when you know that too, there's probably a little bit to that. But so, yeah, these guys know. Like, they don't care about what the jerseys are or the history is with any of these teams. They know anybody can make a run, and you go against it, you feel it. Yeah, you're going to say you'll see because you just saw.
Yeah, sometimes it's a little bit trickier as a fan because it's like You see the Bears this year. That's another good example of one. And it's like, all right, well, they look pretty good. We could have won that game. And then you see the Jets, and it's like, oh, they're clearly not going anywhere. That was just an abysmal loss. That's not like, oh, this team's the future right here. There's a lot of pieces that are really coming together in New York. But yeah, sometimes you hear that stuff and you think like it's just coach speak, or like we just beat a team. So it's like, yeah, hype them up a lot now. But it does seem like they are a little bit able to pick those out and kind of get behind those. We did get some questions I don't like. Do you want one that I didn't love this week?
Yeah, sure. Let's do some questions you didn't like.
This one was from Austin, and listen, we still appreciate all of these, but I'll tell you why I didn't like this one. He said he wanted to pick our brains on some of the most underrated or lost opportunities for nicknames for Bengals players. These could be established names we've heard before or ones you've made up. Some of my personal favorites are the Latter-day Leg for Ryan Rico. Don't hate that. Sticky Gasicki. That one I am just completely off board with. I don't, maybe if you had a really good explanation for that one, it just sounds kind of creepy to me. Like, that sounds like somebody you warn your kids about in the neighborhood, like stay away from Sticky Gasicki. You don't want to be around him. And his other suggestion was Downtown Chase Brown, which is a little overused in my opinion. But he says, but Paul and Mark, you guys are both pretty witty, so I thought you might have some stashed. I feel like coming up with nicknames and forcing them on people, it's kind of hard. Those nicknames have to just sort of reveal themselves, I think, in time. Like Blackout Trey, he didn't start by saying like, hey, everyone call me Blackout Trey. Like that wasn't a media thing that just from day one. That had to sort of just come out of the woodwork a little bit. I don't know. How do you feel about the nicknames?
The hard nicknames are hard. I mean, we did this when Trent Brown and Orlando Brown were here. And we the Brouncers, I know we liked the Brouncers at one point. We were trying to make a thing happen. It does feel like it has to just be more natural. No, none of us should really, we can try and coin something, but it's not going to take unless it feels natural.
Yeah. And on the very rarest of occasions, you can pull that off. I know as Gus Johnson gave Charlie Jones the Chuck Sizzle nickname in college, which, that feels very much like a Gus move. And again, that's another one where it's like, well, he's not really doing a ton week in, week out. So Chuck Sizzle seems not the coolest nickname to have at the NFL level. And honestly, Chuck Sizzle just sounds like college slang for an STD anyway. Like, got to avoid that Chuck Sizzle if you're going out tonight. You don't end up with that Chuck Sizzle. So, maybe we could have avoided that one. But yeah, it's hard for us to establish. And maybe I'm just bitter because I did like the Brouncers. We had some nice movement on that. Mm-hmm. It was a nice bit that we had for a while, and some real optimism just around that offensive line. It would have been fun. But yeah, it just didn't work out for Trent Brown there.
Hey, maybe Trent Brown playing for the Texans. You'll see him in the postseason. I'm curious. Maybe Trent Brown is one that comes back as the swing tackle. Trent Brown, why not?
Run it back.
Because at the time it wasn't great. He's like, yeah, he doesn't seem real interested in training camp. Yeah, like I don't know about his health. Well, if you only need him, you don't really need him for training camp. You're going to assume that hopefully you can keep Mims and Orlando Brown healthy, and he's just around in case you need a guy. I think that's the ideal spot for Trent Brown right now. So maybe big man, weird tattoo, little head. Maybe he can come back.
I like that nickname better.
Yeah,
man, weird tattoo, little head.
I mean, it sums him up.
It really does. This next one, he says, as always, love all the shows and what you put your bodies through. Quick question first. I have a hard time understanding how Zach Taylor should be fired. When he has the big three, it's a 67% win percentage. That is his vision for the team. It's clear the last 2 years is on the front office, sitting on its hands with the defense. So explain like a child how this is Zach's fault. He also spelled Zach wrong in both of those references. So if you're going to be a big Zach Taylor defender, at least drop the H on Zach, maybe.
Yeah, well, I would say I'm trying to guess what the number would be. Maybe like 60% of people that yell for him to be fired in my mentions don't spell his name correctly. He's a ZAC. It's just a fact. Like that's just, I feel like there's very rarely do you see a proper yelling fire Zach with ZAC. That said, I think there's some truth to what you're saying here, and we've discussed this a lot. The offense has been good. That is his vision. There's no doubt. Like, having the most dominant passing game in football is his vision, and everything is based around having those three guys out there, the way they run the offense, the way they set up the offensive line, the way that everything has gone. I think you've seen that when they have all been out there in recent years. They've been one of arguably the best, EPA per play would say, best offense in football with the three of them out there over the last 2 years. So yes, like, that's a feather in the cap. And the problem, what I would say is, though, he is the head coach. He is responsible for the defense being better, being good enough. You hire the coordinator, you fire the coordinator. You're a part of those decisions. Maybe the front office didn't act aggressively enough. There's no doubt, but it does still fall on you. Like, the team winning, the team having a good defense or a historically bad defense does inevitably fall on you, even if you are an offensive guy. That's, to me, where a lot of this comes from, certainly. And when some of your stars are out, finding a way to win. I mean, so you're responsible for having a good defense. You're responsible for winning. There are some scenarios where the excuses are valid, and not having Burrow is certainly as valid as this team has as an excuse. But 1-8 is not going to get it done no matter what, especially when you did find competent quarterback play. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's hard to see why people would ask for it. I understand what you're saying here in terms of the positives that surround what Zach Taylor has done, and we know the organization and their belief in continuity and valuing continuity and building and believing in the people that they have hired. And I understand 100% where fans come from, but that's where all I can do is tell you where it's at.
Yeah, you got to manufacture some wins with Joe on the bench. What's fun, though, is like, Zach gets the blame for that. The 1-8, sure, he is the head coach. But when Joe comes back and the offense looks great, it's not like Zach's getting any of that praise. It's not like, Zach has really figured out this offense. No, it's Joe. It's always going to be about Burrow. And when they were really good, it's the big three. It's because Burrow and Chase and T are just better than everybody. Zach Taylor is going to get very little credit for that along the way. We did get this fun email from Pat. He has a new slogan for the team.
Okay.
We can pull that guy up.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He wants to replace fat in the locker room. Play like you've been eliminated already. I like that.
This was very well done. I certainly appreciate it. I just feel like, you know what? If we're going to be creative about change, we're going to come up with some new ideas. I think, you paint over fat and go with play like you've been eliminated. Is there an acronym we could do on this one? I don't know. BEA, B Arthur, play. I'm not sure what it is. Play like you're eliminated already. I mean, we'll work on some acronyming. It's not going to be as cool as fat, but
it's not like play like a champion today either. It's a little bit more of a more realistic approach to this. But hey, if it gets that level of play we've seen from the last couple of weeks, I'm all for it.
Loved it. Great solution.
Because this next one, he says, Paul and Mark, huge thank you for getting us to this point of a terrible 90s-esque season, complete with the late season run against backup quarterbacks, which will serve as Bengals talking points to defend the status quo. Anyway, a very serious question. How do we get Bang on the Drum eliminated as the post-touchdown song played at Paycor? And is this a conscious decision to keep it every year or just a lazy roll it over each year? Jock Jams Volume 1 came out in 1994, and I'm pretty sure this song's use predates Marvin Lewis. A loose canvassing of friends and family confirms that this song totally sucks. I can't imagine Jamar T and Joe dig it. Perhaps not up there with hire a GM or structure around the cap more creatively, but it's also not acceptable. Looking forward to the offseason content and developing hope again.
All right. That song, Bang the Drum, Todd Rundgren, came out in 1983.
Wow, that's old.
It's old. I mean, it's not as old as me, but it's almost as old as me. And that's not good. The Packers also, this is like a Packers thing. This is what they do done at Lambeau since 95. So it's old. It's not particularly cool. It is another team's thing first. I think that this has probably been long overdue. I think this is important. I think that you guys need to voice your opinion. Maybe you get maybe there's a billboard about this, right? Maybe there's change, bang the drum is like the next one after the fire Zach, save Burrow billboard. Maybe that's what we focus on, what's really important. I don't think the problem is you need something that is known. Like after a touchdown, people want to hear something that they know and are familiar with. But I do think there's a way to make it cooler. Maybe fan vote. If you got voice your opinion, send in your thoughts. What should it be? We'll pass them along.
These are the questions that need to be coming up in the press conferences. Like, hey,
Right.
what do you want to replace the song with? And, billboards, and I've seen petitions going around. It's like those, when you're trying to get the head coach fired with a fan petition, like this is third grade class president or something, that's not going to work. But now if you are trying to replace the song, then your billboard campaign might work. Then your petition has a little bit more power. So maybe we should be throwing all of our efforts behind that.
This is a great way for the team to not have to really change the way they do business, but say that they're listening to the fans enough.
Yeah, we're willing to change our ways.
We heard you on this. We're here to make it better.
We did have a call for New Year's resolutions for this team that was on our podcast social media this week. And most of them were exactly what you would expect. Draft properly, no more resting on the laurels, keep up with the changing NFL environment, be aggressive in free agency, new owners, new coaches. One guy said win the Super Bowl. I feel like that's a fun resolution, just not the how, just how what they get, right. But my favorite was one guy that just said his resolution for the franchise would be to change from Pepsi to Coke in the stadium. That's where some fans are at. They know change is hopeless enough. All he wants is his favorite soda.
We, of course, love Skyline, but since they changed from Gold Star to Skyline, it has gone downhill. I don't blame the chili. There has been a throwing off of the balance.
Yeah.
So maybe a counter to that is changing from Pepsi to Coke to even it all back out and get back on the winning track. Maybe that's what it is.
Again, a change worth investigating at this point. You never know. It could be the soda that gets it back, or maybe we need to boot Skyline out of the stadium, at least until they're a sponsor on this show.
Hey,
we've got no chili dollars tied up anywhere, so we've got no official allegiances. Get rid of the Skyline, bring back Gold Star, run it back with the chili back when things were good.
Yeah, I have an official allegiance. I'm sorry. So I'm not
How?
writing that.
They don't pay.
I don't care. I'm a Skyline
If
guy.
Blue Ash Chili wants to be a sponsor on this show, we'll forget about Skyline real quick.
Yeah. I guess.
Quick
My
ambush
kids won't.
question here.
Yeah.
What is your worst work road trip story, or the worst person you've traveled with?
Oh, well, I don't. There's
Name
no
names.
No, I'm not naming names. I will name names in this way, though. Maybe two of my favorite people I've ever worked with in any job started off with a bad road trip story. And that is Jim Ozarski and Sam Green, who Sam is a photographer. Jim, my beat partner for like 4 years, the Inquirer. And we had so many great trips together. But the first one, and now old school listeners to the pod will know this because I never let this go back in the day. The first trip, it was a preseason trip to Tampa Bay. And we all were on the same flight that had a layover to Charlotte. We weren't thrilled about it. The two of them got to the gate early. And I had gotten there and they knew I was there. I think I had been texting them like, hey, I'm stopping to get some food. Maybe if you want anything. They said they didn't. And I get to the gate and kind of sit down, and I didn't see him anywhere, but I wasn't really thinking about it. I just kind of sat down. I was doing some work or something like that. And turns out while I was getting food, they were making an announcement that they had a certain number of seats. If you would be a hero, they'd give you a voucher and you could take a different flight to your destination. Turns out they went up there. They didn't have to do a layover. They would get to Tampa sooner and take a direct. No text to me like, hey, you should get up here. Like they're doing directs to Tampa. We're going to get there sooner and get a voucher. They just did it, went to the new gate, didn't say a word. I get on the plane like, that's weird. I never saw Jim or Sam. They must be in here somewhere. Then I sit down. I'm like, I didn't see them anywhere. That's weird. And then they're like, oh, yeah, we got on they were giving away these directs. And so I guess where I ended up spending my day? A delayed layover in Charlotte, North Carolina for hours while they are literally sending me pictures from the pool in Tampa.
That's dirty.
Hanging out at the pool, living the good life there. Meanwhile, I was stuck in Charlotte with no help, no thought. Like, hey, we should tell Paul to get in on this. This is a great deal. This is unbelievable.
It is a fun prank. You get that Home Alone moment where you're like, "Oh no, I forgot something." My coworkers, and they're
it's
like,
okay.
"Yeah, we did."
I was a little hurt. I was a little hurt by that. I did not let it go. So I will. That's certainly one that always comes to mind. I will say maybe worst trip, and people would think this is blasphemy, and it doesn't mean I wasn't appreciating the moment. Super Bowl week sucked.
Oh, really?
Because we were in LA for a week. It was still COVID-y, so we couldn't really do anything. We're doing Zooms from hotels in LA.
Yeah, that sucks.
With players, and like all the media, of course, is there. So you can't hardly even get everything that's supposed to be the advantage of years of relationships you've built up with players, familiarity, unbelievable access where they're literally just sitting in a giant ballroom at tables for an hour every single day. Everybody, you had none of that. And then the one day they actually tried to make them kind of available in person. We had to drive across LA to UCLA through LA traffic to and back just for us to not really even be able to get through the metal detectors on time. They had the players sitting up on these steps, like 15 steps up away from us that we were behind gates. We're yelling questions to them. And there was only 10 of them out there.
Oof,
you couldn't even get to anybody. And all the media was there. I mean, and that was on Friday. Like, no, all our stuff is done. We've been here all week needing to fill content. I'm not filing anything Friday afternoon that makes any difference. It was just a dreadful experience. The actual game day was fine, but the week is supposed to be this great week. Everything was still very COVID-y, and you never got any real access. And we were kind of stuck in LA hotels. It was just a letdown. And you're busy as hell having to write like a million things. I mean, your team's in the Super Bowl. So
yeah, you don't get to go to the parties every night. You're not there.
Snuck into one party. Did sneak. The media party was good that week, but I didn't get to go to as many as you would on a week where your team's not in the Super Bowl.
Right. Yeah. Totally different beast at that point. And I think some of those trips are harder in the sports world. Cause I was looking back at mine. It's like most of my worst stand-up trips, you're with another comedian. So it's still fun. Like even if the situation stinks, you're having a good time. You're laughing about it. There've been terrible travel weekends with delayed flights, canceled flights, all that kind of stuff. My worst trip though was probably back when I was the 2 years I was a sports reporter still. And honestly, it was a college trip from WOUB with another OU reporter. He wanted to drive. We were covering a game in Chicago. He was going to drive because he was from Chicago. And it was not until we got onto the highway that I realized that he could not drive. Like he was a terrible driver. He was scared. He was scared to drive essentially. And so the whole time he would stay in the far right lane the entire time and then panic at every merge. Like he would just completely melt down. I'm like, this is the wrong lane to be in if you don't want to have to deal with merging. And it was the longest trip to Chicago that I've ever had in my life.
You don't want to, from Athens to Chicago, be feared for your life at every merge. It
was just panic, just constant panic. And I hate to be like the backseat driver, but man, that was a really rough one that I still think about.
Yeah. Speaking of trips, where are you? How was Fort Wayne?
Oh yeah. Big New Year's Eve in Fort Wayne. The hotel was very nice, a little too fancy for Fort Wayne. As soon as I came in to check in, they gave you the glass of champagne and stuff. I'm like, well, I have nothing to do with this. My car's still right out front. I can't just go put it in there as I park. So I had to slam that real fast. The show was fine. It was a fun show for New Year's Eve. I will say the club had a bottle of Johnny Walker Blue in the green room for the comics, which was a nice, the Blue Label stuff is pretty expensive. So it was a nice way to ring in the new year. Although I will say this, Cincy Growl Pals, I have a show this Saturday at Commonwealth Comedy Club in town. So I want to see a bunch of you guys out there and, come hang out for that show. I think it's at 7:30. Those tickets are on sale now. It's a great club. It'll be a fun show. So come out to that. And then, I'm doing some less glamorous travel this month. I'm going to Midland, Michigan in a week or so, Columbus, Indiana on the 16th, and then Tampa Bay for the 22nd through 24th, and then Des Moines, Iowa at the end of January. So if you live in any of those cities, tickets are on my website.
Yeah, Commonwealth is like a new up and coming spot, right? I mean,
it is. It's a cool little vibe down there, and it's the closest to the city, bringing in great acts every week.
Yeah, love it. Make sure you go check out Mark down there. All right.
Growler bet?
Yeah, Growler bet. We got to get to Growler bet this week. Growler bet, we've got so this week there's normally we give away to the winner can come get some free drinks on me at the live show. But since this is our last live show of the year, and the next one would be like however far out we get to for our next live show, I'll send a Growl Pal shirt to you. You've earned it. Some of you guys have been in it all year. Some of you guys have maybe kind of arguably won it twice and don't have anything to show for it. And so we're going to do this. Let's do Bengals points. Send me Bengals points in this game. Nail a number. This should be one that can get you there. You can win a Growl Pal shirt. I will send it to you. Bengals points include tiebreaker Bengals total net yards. So, because I have a feeling we're going to have some people on the same number on this one. So send that my way. Of course, something funny in the subject header I will always appreciate. We will read those next week as we get into that. But Bengals points scored with a tiebreaker of Bengals total net yards. Send those to the Growler Podcast at gmail.com, and I'll send you a Growl Pal shirt.
Growl Pal Spotlight this week. What do we got for Growl Pal Spotlight? I want to
give a shout out to Dax Hill. He was the Bengals winner of the Ed Block Courage Award. Of course, came back from ACL and, played all season. And a good dude, has dealt with a lot here at Cincinnati, to say the least. If you're looking to get out and support some things that Dax supports, I thought I appreciated the Bengals had some of the causes that Dax Hill supports when they put him out there for Ed Block Courage Award. He supports, MIB Agents of Osteosarcoma Alliances. It's a nonprofit that focuses on awareness and funding research and supporting families that deal with that. It's a great cause. He wore it for My Cleats in week 12. So you can go and look that up. Of course, with Dax Hill and the Ed Block Courage Award, and any donations you can give, of course, are great. Dax is a good dude and has been through a lot this year and here, and he's very active in the community. So shout out to him. Support his causes as well.
Big Dax Hill fan over here. So I'm on board with that. Support all of Dax's stuff and all of our Growl Pal spotlights every week. If you have something you want us to shout out, send us an email to thegrowlerpodcast at gmail.com.
Absolutely. Please do. Let's see. What do we got going on? I have an update in my dad life. I have an update from last
Oh, okay. What do you got?
Well, I talked about how we did the CD player.
Yeah.
Was a thing for my daughter last week. And so we gave her the CD player for Christmas and all of that stuff. And it sent me immediately sprinting to the basement to get my books of CDs. Cause I really I was obsessed. I wanted to listen to all my good old mixtape, A Hotness 2001, Spring Break 2K2. Like, I had made all of these great CDs back in the day when we were all burning CDs. And it wasn't that I needed to, know what was on, any number of real CDs I had. It was just I wanted to listen to the mixes. And then I had a good friend in Growl Pal coming over on Saturday, Joe. And I really wanted to sit down and listen to CDs. Like, I was just like feeling it, right? Pop some wine open and let's listen to some CDs. But my daughter was like, no, I'm not letting you use my CD player. I have my one CD and I'm listening to it. I'm like, okay. So I had to make a deal. The deal ended up being I would buy her one more CD for a 3-hour rental of her CD player. And I felt like we both came out on top. I got to go out, sit on the back deck, drink wine, and pop in all the mixed CDs, live that life again, recognize that the reason I stopped doing this because they all skip at like song 4 and don't make it to the end. But I got to live that, and I got to re-experience and remember where I was at that point in time, and now I just got to go buy one CD, and that's fine too.
Does she get to pick the CD? Because if she does, she should pick one from the bank. Get that payout 10 years later.
Yeah. she already picked it. She of course wanted Tortured Poets. I mean, she just wants a Taylor Swift CD. That's all she ever wants.
You know what? We need to see if they have a CD player down there at Tom's Watch Bar. Maybe we could be playing your mix CDs at the live shows. Get Spring Break 2002 going.
Oh, dude,
that'd be fun.
Let me tell you, my mix of the classics. So I had a great classic rock CD that I think was pretty epic, and then the Hotness series, as it became known, for a number of years in a row. It lived on. Like it made many a party go back in the day.
My dad life this week, I've got, it's, still deep in winter. You never know in Cincinnati if it's going to be 60 or 2 degrees. And I was thinking about this because this happened to me after our live show in mid-December. I came back and there was 2 people shoveling my driveway. And so my wife, there was a kid that came to the door. And let me ask you how you feel about this, right? Kid comes to the door, offers to shovel the driveway for like $10 or something like that. Not a huge driveway. Maybe it was 20, something, basic. I like that work effort and hustle from the kid, so I'm totally on board with her saying, hey, you're showing some initiative here. There aren't very many kids that are putting themselves out there like that. Yeah, we'll throw you a few bucks and you can earn some money. Apparently what happened though is as soon as he had the sale, his dad pulled up in a car and parked it. And then he helped the kid shovel. And he wasn't that young of a kid. It wasn't like a 6-year-old. He was probably a 12 or 13-year-old kid. That feels different. Now it just feels like a family business I'm supporting. And it doesn't feel like quite the charm of the little neighborhood kid just trying to earn a few bucks. Now I've got another grown man shoveling my driveway. I'm like, who's going to spend this money? I don't think it's going to be CDs for this kid's CD player. I think it's going to go to some Miller Lights for this old man.
Yeah. I mean, the guy I like the idea of him showing up in a big truck and then unloads a snowblower and just blows the whole thing off in 1 minute. And then the kid just hops in, they give a high five in the car and then skid off. It's a total deal. I mean, it's actually not a terrible business model if you can make it happen.
You got the support truck trailing you as you go up to do your door-to-door sales. It just the whole thing felt a little bit unusual to me, I suppose.
Yeah. Didn't know that there was such a bait and switch happening, but I appreciate the ingenuity sending the kid out there.
Yeah, bringing dads and sons together in their little bit unusual schemes. I guess that's not the worst thing.
Love it. All right, another reminder to everybody. Hope to see you all down there. On Sunday, we will be at BetMGM. You can get the exclusive parlay boost. You can hang out, have some drinks with us, ask some questions. We'll be giving stuff away. You name it, 10 to 11 at BetMGM on Sunday. Last show of this season, last game of this season. It has been a great year, for all of us down there. We've had a ton of fun. I thank everybody that has come out, whether it's been irrelevant games, whether it's been cold, whether it's been the kickoff of a season full of optimism or the lows of the lows on a day when Joe Burrow would get hurt. Everybody has been out there. And it's been really awesome to see all the support. We certainly appreciate you guys for all that you do. So we'll be out there. We hope to see you as well. All right. Thanks everybody for listening and for watching, and we'll talk to you next time. Have a good one.